Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about Nigeria Democracy Day, the journey thus far. Like I said earlier on, I have two vibrant youths with me here in the studio. You get to hear put food on the table. You won't hear about all this. The voice of the masses, Jimmy, to welcome Okoro Osaho Obaraye. Welcome to TMI, so this edition.
Good morning, Wilson.
Of course, happy Democracy Day to you.
Yes, same.
All right. Very close to him is another vibrant youth, political analyst, human rights activist, Emmanuel Igbogo. Emmanuel, welcome to TMI, so this edition.
Good morning,
and happy Democracy Day to you.
And good morning, viewers at home.
All right. Obari, I want to start off from your famous comment, put food on the table. Is this all about food not being present at the table, or there's something more to it? Obari.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wilson. First of all, I think Democracy Day is not really, to me, we are not happy because we're supposed to be celebrating yesterday, but the youth were out on the streets. That it goes to tell you that it was not really worth celebrating. And the acronym, put food on the table, does not just really mean food to eat per se. Food entails good roads. Food entails a serene environment. Food entails regulation in prices. Food entails quality and accessible education. So food is just a way of telling, my own way of saying, let's do things right. Actually, we've given you our mandate to cook for us. Now you are supposed to put those food on the table. But what you decide to do is to make sure that those food that you're supposed to put are given to yourself, your family, and very few individuals. To me, Wilson, I think whatever we want to discuss, we should discuss it as a broader concern so that our listeners and viewers at home will understand so well. The truth must be told. Was Democracy Day of yesterday, June 12, worth celebrating? It's a simple thing. I know you want to save your head. It's no. Why are we going to celebrate yesterday when the action of the military and the security agencies yesterday, the way they took June 12 to say they don't want people to protest, their seriousness towards it, if that has borne down towards the fight against Boko Haram, I'm not sure the issue of Chibok or the issue of kidnapping and maiming will be what will be the theme of the just now where people are saying. I'm sure yesterday you saw live videos, you saw everywhere where police was making sure tear gas was everywhere, arrest was everywhere, and they took charge of the situation. Bravo, that was so good. But can they also do that now in places like Borno, Benue, where these things are on daily basis? Can it be done just the way you people were serious yesterday? Be serious like that on the Boko Haram issue, so that Boko Haram that now always flags in different communities can be pushed away far. So to me, yesterday, June 12, it's supposed to be a sober reflection to see that this was not really the fight the man June 12 was named after, MK Abiola, was for. A man that was not to put food on the table for people. He took most things government was supposed to do it. Airline, football, it was everywhere. That's the man. Food was on the table for his followers and workers. So how can you correlate that of the past of Moshood, Kolawole, Abiola, to the one we have today, where you cannot tell how the people you left at home, you are going to meet them. Where you cannot tell. Thank God I was watching, waiting, and you saw NEPA taking light. Are you telling me we are supposed to be celebrating that? If Nigeria, you cannot just believe now that the next thing you can just wake up and they tell you Twitter is nowhere again to be found. So to me, we are the way our my mentor and leader will always say, Fela Nicola Okuti, blessed memory, will say, we are suffering and smiling. That's just the truth. So to me, yesterday Nigeria was supposed to sit down and reflect on the past where we are coming from. We're supposed to reflect where transport fare from Benin to Lagos was less than 1,000 naira, even if you want to fly. Not today, where everything is times 2. Where today, before 2 hours, we take you for about 1 or 2 hours. Now, if you take 4, we see, before 2, you are hungry again. Everything has been touched by the government. So we are not happy with the situation because there's no food. Even the food we have on the table now is not good for us at all.
I'll come back to you, Barry. Well, he said yesterday, June 12th, Democracy Day, to him wasn't worth celebrating because of the myriads of problems that is bedeviling the country. As an activist, what are your points of view?
Firstly, I want to look at it from the fact that we are currently practicing democracy. But when it comes to the issue of true federalism, we are far away from it. We haven't said so. The reason for that is that you look across the representative capacity of Nigerian people. Of late, I was inside my study room when I discovered that we have over 360-something representatives in the House of Assembly and over 91 senators or thereabout.
106.
106 senators. And I took a reflection to ask myself, how many ethnic groups, tribes, ethnic groups do we have in Nigeria? And how many of these ethnic groups are represented in the hollow chambers? We are operating a full-fledged parliamentary system. And I also ask myself, this full-fledged parliamentary system that runs into billions of naira, how has this system been able to represent the people? And I looked at it that the system is even very far from the people. Now, we should look at it, and Nigerians who are watching. In Nigeria as a whole, within the circle where we find ourselves, we are not up to 500 tribes. So why put 500 people in a parliament to represent themselves and their political elites? Because from the look of things, people are shouting, oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. I come from Edo State, I'm a Benin man, my mother is Benue. And for crying out loud, I don't feel so happy that Benues are being slaughtered as if they are nobody. They are now a target of this jihadist Fulanization of Nigeria.
Anyway, nobody is talking about a conspiracy right now on this platform, please.
But the truth be said, we know we are on media, but we try as much as possible to put the truth on the front burner. We are not here to just play to the gallery. We are here to, enlighten the public. We see the truth be said, Nigeria is not practicing federalism. Even if we are practicing democracy, there's an elective process, to attain leadership in government. The question to ask ourselves, this particular system of government from regional to states, now in a democratic settings where we still have states, and there's still agitation. Some people are talking, IPOB is saying they want to leave, Oduduwa Republic is also saying they want to create theirs, this other party is saying they want their own. The question to ask, if you have true representative, if you have true parliamentary system of government, would people not go for an open door referendum within the system of government? But as it speaks today, there are so many tribes. I don't want to go very far. I want to talk about my state here because I try to narrow it down, not on the day-to-day analysis of hunger everywhere. There's nobody that's not aware that there's hunger in Nigeria. In fact, people are now suffering more than they used to suffer 30 years ago in this country. Now, look at it. For instance, in Edo State, we have over 11 to 12 tribes, talking from the Onwas, the Afemas, the Kas, the Shekiris, the Jaws, the Benis, the Esans. I can go on and on. But the truth be said, look at the system of our House of Assembly as it is today. How many of these tribes are represented in the House of Assembly? There are some parts in Edo State that when you visit, you would ask if these people have ever seen a project from government. It exists in Edo State. So we should not play ball game with what our situation is. We should look into the pictures and render solutions. For crying out loud, there is a constitutional amendment process going on in Nigeria as at today, how many people have a means of having an input from the ethnic to, will I call it the senatorial or the constituencies as it may be, from the states and all that? How many has input into the constitutional amendment of Nigeria? You see, it's a total no. So what we want as a people is to have that collective representative. Do you know why I say that? As a Benin man, I don't think if tomorrow we are now practicing true federalism, and I know that whatever comes from the state is contributed to the center and thereby returned back to the state, I don't think if I have a legislator that represents us truly, he will go to Abuja and share what will come to us and come back home and sit peacefully. But today, somebody will stay in Sokoto and tell you how the oil in Ogoni should be used. Somebody will stay in Katsina that does not contribute 0% of our economic fortune.
You cannot say Katsina contributes 0%. You are not sure of that, please. Let's be factual.
No, we are on air. Yeah. Quote me, what I'm saying here does not abridge any rights of Nigerian NBC rules. But I want to ask this question. As of today, Zamfara sold gold to CBN. Edo State, we have oil in Ologo, we have oil in Orion, we have oil in Ovia. I want to ask, has any of our leaders been able to sell this oil directly?
Okay.
Even to the central bank?
All
so
right.
These are the injustices that exist.
Okay.
And now let me say this to round up, please. If you continue allowing people who don't contribute to a process take charge of that process and control the entirety of the process. We are talking about the military, we are talking about the police, we are talking about the DSS, we are talking about the immigrations. That is a high level of injustice.
Okay, I will come back to you. Take a look at it from a representative point of view and representation of each tribe in this federation. Some of the opinion that Nigerians don't know what they want. That is the reason why we are where we are. Do you agree to that suggestion or opinion or thought?
Nigerians don't
know what they want. Starting from the leadership, electoral process, going out to vote, and all that.
I'm laughing. It's funny because I know what I want. I'm a Nigerian. Yeah. I know what. If I don't know what I want, I will. I was on this studio with you. Yeah. I saw it on my memories. 2015. We also spoke about Nigeria. So if I don't know what I want, I will take my time to come to make sure I talk. So I know what I want. What I want is good government. What I want is put food on the table. It's simple, so I want it. But the people we are giving that authority, do they also want it? Not we. That question was supposed to be you say our leaders don't know what they want.
Nigerians right now don't know what they want.
I know what I want.
Starting from the electoral process.
Already told you what he wants.
According to
the only person on this table now that doesn't know what he wants is Winston Marshall.
Hold on, Obara. You say we have the leaders that we deserve.
No.
That is what people are saying because Nigerians went out in mass to cast their votes.
Listen. You see,
Nigerians don't know what they want.
See, thank God, I knew you. There was a time I suffered migraine for a very long time. If it was that period, I would just excuse myself. So now I can stand you because migraine is gone. The truth is that you know the truth. That is why I'm happy. The truth. It's simple. Have we ever, I listen to your news, after 1993, June 12 election, have we had any other credible election to date? I listened here, said that the last credible election, it was your news. I heard it from. So I think I can add to that. Now, not me saying it. I'm quoting that the last credible election we had was June 12. Abiola spoke. I just heard him saying that August something will not be democratic. Where he declared himself because he knew that was the freest ever. Till date, our vote has never counted. The truth must be told. Then they know they made a mistake. That's why Nigeria must not get it right. The leaders came together and said, no, let's cancel this one and let's give them what they want. So they are the one giving us what they want, not what we want. What we wanted was the June 12th that we stayed in queue, NRC SDP, where people voted their conscience and they counted, and everybody knew, the entire world celebrated it. After then, till now, the process has been juxtaposed. You cannot get in. It's what they want, they now give. Where a state like Kogi, the governor won one or two local governments and he became a governor. Where a state like Ekiti, it was militarized. Tell me, where, just tell me if you can also lecture me on this to tell me the best, the free election that you had. Is it in 2015 that the man that saw today, former minister, that shouted, no, this is fraud, no, this is fraud. And they said you should sit down. Where a state, where you have education is zero, brought electoral result and there was no void vote. You are telling me where a state, where a leader was standing, no other person voted, and you are telling me there was no other party agent in that place. It was a lalo, everything for the person. So where are you now telling me what we want? We want it, we suffer, we come here, we talk, we want it, we go to the street, we protest. Have they answered us? The police issue we fought for to end SARS issue. Were they not the same police that came out yesterday to fight? Fighting people that is helping you, go to their barrack and see. There is no same policeman that is happy with their barrack situation. When we are telling them we are fighting for you, they will say no, that they want their salary. That's what they want. We want a better society, we see. That's why we're on the street every day, we cry, this thing is not right, this is not right, oh God, do it well. And the next thing, they tag you as rebel. That you are a rebellious human being, that why will you tell people that it's good that they should be light 24 hours when you know a supply generator? You are a bad person. When they not tell you, why will you tell them that there should be school, good education, when you know I have a university? Who will not go to my university if there's a good school? When they will tell you, why will you tell me fuel to be good when you know I have series of filling stations that I do Amito Bunkery? You are telling me there should be a same process in selling fuel? So you can see.
All right, now you just hold on, but I want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. It's getting a little bit interesting. Do Nigerians don't know what they want? We'll come back to expatiate on that. Don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about Nigeria democracy, the journey thus far. With me here in the studio, I have two vibrant youth really sharing their opinions and views on the celebration of Democracy Day in Nigeria. Okoro Osaho Obaraye and, of course, Emmanuel Aibogun. Well, we're talking about Nigerians not knowing what they want, but you insist that Nigerians know what they want. It's only the leadership, so to speak, are the ones forcing us to accept what they want. Please anchor your point.
We see the truth must be told. This is the first time you've put in a message so right to me. The way you said it now is the way I said it. Thank God you didn't bend it. The truth.
Hold on. No. Oh, are you accusing me of bending your statement?
No, most times. I'm so happy you were eloquently sound on it to deposit. That was the way I want it. The truth is that if we don't know what we want, would there be anything like the NSAS protest that youth were on the street, even though the military apparatus were against them? If we don't know what they want, what we want. Yesterday we seen, I'm sure as a journalist, you monitor the exercise, that the youth were all over yesterday. You heard somebody saying, I cannot be a refugee in my own country.
Don't forget that some youths also are in support of the administration.
No, I was coming there, and you also heard a girl telling you that she was given 1,000 naira to come and counter this protest. The video are out there, I was in the video out there. So you can see the country we are. That if they know the things that are right, they come through the back door, give them 1,000, 2,000, and go and counter the process of those that really know what they want. So the truth, the leadership knows. If the leadership don't know that we know what we want, how come you speak English to us that anybody that speaks the truth through the avenue or that person has spoken that issue, should be locked down. Twitter was brought down. Twitter didn't say anything. You said you wanted to maim and kill. And Twitter helped you spread that news and said, okay, we'll put it down. The next you say, Twitter must go. Now, if Obaye tell you this is the way it is, the next thing we say, Obaye, did I tell you? That you say NBC has called us. So you can see that they know how to trample on people's rights because we know what we want. If at this age I don't know what I want to see, I will better just find something else doing. What we want is a good government that we've been asking them to do, which is simple. Just that they are too dull to know it. They don't know it. How can a governor, PA, that opens the door for the governor, how can that person has a PA that opens the door for him? How can that one has a PA? The door opener. He goes to tell you that the man knows what he wants. This was a man that was a mentor to people like us. In trying to beautify and give Abuja a good name. But today, where is he in the scheme of things? He has joined the bourgeois, and what he's doing now is to make sure that the Talakawas, where he was once a member, is nowhere to be found. Okay. He's now employing a PA for his PA's PA. So if that one has been shown, my brother, what about others that we don't see? Okay. That's going to tell you that their side chicks as PA too. Okay. So the money is going down bastardly, and they know it. But they won't. How can a senator, was crying, shouting that it is better for them to close the Senate now because there is no peace outside. People are dying every day, and what they go there to just do is to sit down, use face mask to close their nose, run on the barber chair and tell you things are right. A rep member telling us boastfully that you can see my 4 wives in the chambers. I have 27 children and I'm still getting more. So if people call me a strong man, I'm not just strong here, I'm strong at home. The videos are there.
All right.
A rep member telling you.
Obaraye, calm down now.
If the rep member knows what he wants by producing children to form a constituency of his own, I'll be voting for him. Okay. Are you telling us that is a safe society?
Okay, Obaraye, I will come back to you. I'll come back to you. Emmanuel, if Nigerians really know what they want, how come they'll collect 5,000 to sell their votes? How come they'll be giving money, peanuts, to go protest both for and, of course, against? How come if Nigerians know what they want, they have the opportunity of making things right in where they work, that little office given to them, but still they squat to it? Don't you agree that really Nigerians don't know what they want?
Listen, there's no way we would say Nigerians don't know what they want. Every sane human being knows what is ideal for him or her. But the truth be said, Zig Ziglar once said, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting another form of answer is one form of madness. I heard President Muhammad Buhari on his interview with Arise TV that in most local governments, you appropriate 300 million naira from FARC. When the 300 million naira comes to the state, the governors will bring a paper and tell the local government chairman to sign that he received 300 million naira, and they will give him 100 million.
These are just allegations, though.
It's not allegation.
You cannot.
No, it's not allegation.
Will they come out to say it?
Yes.
Will the chairman come out?
Yes. They are not going to. They can say it now.
Now, since they cannot say,
I'm not quoting myself or quoting an academic scholar or a journalist house. I'm quoting the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari. I started by saying on Arise TV, the interview that he had with the likes of Ruben Abati and co. Now, what I'm saying is this. If the number one citizen of Nigeria knows that the ordinary Nigerian citizen lives within the 4 walls of every local government in Nigeria, and is also aware to his desk that there's a report of corruption where local government chairmen collect monies lesser than what is appropriated for them from FARC, and he's using it as an excuse for what is the day-to-day activities of Nigerians and their plight. I think that is the highest level of failure. Take it to the banks, take it to anywhere you want to take it to. That is the highest level of failure. See, for crying out loud, there is no way a local government like Mwode, where I come from, will get over 3 billion naira in the last 10 years, and we'll still be looking the way it is, without a central hospital, without major infrastructures. If you go to Eho is like a typical village in Oronigbe. So let us be realistic. Nigeria is dying day in, day out. 22 years of democracy where we have spent trillions. When I mean trillions,
anyway, we are not dying.
Trillions, hundreds of trillions.
We are not dying.
And we still cannot talk about electricity. And when Nigerian youth come out to protest, they say they don't know what we want. Let me tell you, I was in the street yesterday protesting with my fellow comrades. Before we were able to attain a peaceful protest in Nigeria, in Edo State, we had to visit each and every security apparatus. What that implies is that government is making protests very expensive. As a comrade, where government has not created job for me after school, where I'm sourcing for my livelihood and using my level of intellect to better my society to the extent in which I feel I have and I can, and before I come out to carry out the constitutional rights which is given to me by God and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I must go and see people who ought to secure me in that ground before I go out. Does that not tell you that the system is collapsing? Does that not tell you that the system has failed? Then before they even do that, after they know that we must have told them this is our route where they are supposed to provide security for us, you need to see the show of force yesterday. What is that for? If the president is talking about enjoying freedom, is that a freedom? We are not saying they should allow or fold their hands or allow things go bad. But when we are not seeing, a match of word for action, it shows that the people must come out to agitate and cry. Let me tell you something. Since the agitation of NSAS and all that happened, can you tell me that a policeman now gets quality equipment to police the society? Can you tell me with all the billions of naira security vote across the state that we still enjoy bail is free? As I speak to you, police is even more committing more atrocities.
And since they're not able to speak for themselves, let's just leave it at that, okay?
You
just cannot shape their head in their absence.
Okay, well, I will take that from you as the anchorer. But the truth be said, it has come to a point where the old men in the old league should give the doors for the younger ones to come in.
Are the younger ones ready?
Oh my God. We see in every community, let me tell you the truth. Obaranya is seated here, you are seated here, we are young people. In our various communities, we know those young youths who are trustworthy. We know those young youths who can stand up firm to defend and protect what is right.
Okay.
And the truth be said, if we align the circles of people who have started ruling us from 1967 to date, 2001, oh my God. Even in Britain, the likes of George Bush, when his father first came, are they still ruling us today? The answer is no. Oh, so you are seeing new people coming in, even a black man ruling America. That shows you an innovative society.
All right.
So, but here in our own here, it's just, come and kill them all.
Nobody's saying come and kill them all.
No, but that's what's going on.
Emmanuel, calm down now. You're beginning to get emotional about this topic. Calm down, okay? Calm down. Obaranya, Nigeria have seen successive leaders, successive administration. This question was pushed to Money Mike and of course Bashir Kadiri when they were here. But it's difficult to fix. Why is it so difficult to fix Nigeria? Obasanjo did his best. Yar'Adua did his best. May God rest his soul. Jonathan could build his own quarter. And now we have our President, Muhammadu Buhari. How come is Project Nigeria so difficult to fix?
Greed. The easiest thing to fix is Nigeria. If you want to fix it. I get it now. Greed. I want to be relevant till I die. I want to hold power till I go to the grave. I can remember vividly that I was in primary school where Buhari first came as president. And one of our favorite songs then was, "Parents, listen to your children. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Try to pay our school fees and give us a better education." That was what we were singing when marching. Buhari was the president then. Now my son Hussaini is singing same song. The father sang in primary school. He sing it now in secondary school. That means you listen to him. I should give him better education for leader of tomorrow. When the Buhari that I sang it for is still the one I'm here today. So he goes to tell you that when a man is bereft of ideas, nothing you can no longer do. That is the end. When you have a leader that agrees that everything is wrong, nothing can work. The man doesn't want to step aside. Nothing will work. That's just the truth. Things can work when a man believes that I want to write my name. Was it not in this town? You saw the likes of late Folonshaw Abu Ali that get the likes of us free books and free education. I enjoyed it. There will be a stamp on the dictionary, a stamp on the Bible. This property belongs to Bendel State government. It is not for sale.
For sale.
They share it to us at the resumption of school. Those men, were they not ready to change the system? What happened after it? He was sent to jail because of party crisis. That is one. Now let's also go. Late Osabovo Ogbemudia. May his beautiful soul rest in peace. A man that created series of university, hospitals. He redefined and built Bendel State. Not Edo, not Delta. Bendel State. He did it without huge security votes. I'm sure where he worked then, it's where the master plan is today. All the underground drainages he dug in Benin has been blocked. Cannot even now be cleared by present governor. Not to Digo, just clear it. Then you are telling me people don't know how things work? Are you saying if a governor decides to also not clear the drainage that somebody did over 40 years ago, is that your problem now? So you can see that they don't want it to work just because of greed. And what will people say if I live here without embezzling so much? What will people say if I live here, if I don't have skyscrapers everywhere? That is their mentality. Nobody wants to write this or our name again on gold. If the likes of our auntie that Obasa just picked to become a minister can be chosen now to head the entire world somewhere, it goes to tell you that if you are good, you will be good everywhere. My friend do say, my godfather I know he will tell me, a man that is good at home will also be good in the meeting. If you are not good at home, if you get to the meeting, you bring some problem to the meeting. So our leaders, they know. If they sit down together, bopping Christian chapel, they know they are not good. They know they cannot deliver.
Well, you cannot speak for all leaders.
Listen, I don't need to speak for them. Their action. I'm speaking from their action. Because they will tell you after the first 4 years, don't worry, second tenure will do it. Once election comes, you see them kneeling down. Why will you kneel down if you have done things right? We will beg you to go ahead, to say continue. They know. Why will you kneel down when you know that the security vote, you are the one in charge, and you can increase it without anybody asking you? How can a same man wasting collect close to $1 billion? A same person. What are you using it for if it's not greed? So what will you be remembered for? How can you not say, okay, now let's come with the issue? We say, remember, it was in this country that somebody said everybody must have a phone. And today, everybody has a phone. Even your grandfather, everybody has a phone. How can somebody now also say, now let me also do it, there should be light everywhere? All right. Call expatriate to say, how come ITV, immediately you take light, within 2 minutes, there's light. If ITV can do it, that's to say, this entire local community or Igosa can do it. Let's do that same thing ITV is using here. Let's put it in this place for these people to have the same light.
Okay, thank you.
If they know that where they go in overseas is comfortable, why can't you make it comfortable if it's not greed and stupidity?
But what's your emotions?
You cannot talk about Nigeria without being emotional.
You don't need to throw insult at anyone. And then
nobody's insulted here.
All right. Well, Emmanuel, you're going to have the last line on this discussion. What do you think is the way forward?
Well,
people went out yesterday to protest. Many people protested for and, of course, against. But it's like we are still where we are. So what do we do?
Well, the truth be said, I started by giving you the quote of Zig Ziglar. That when we all do the same thing over and over again and expect another form of answer, it's one form of madness. The truth be said, the reason why Nigeria cannot work is solely because of corruption. Nigerians are busy making law. I started by citing the legislator. They are the ones to make law. And they know that corruption is a major problem why they're set back in this country. How many of them have sat down to make laws that says the moment you are being caught stealing public money, you are sentenced to death?
Without solve the problem.
Sure, expressly.
He did it in China.
Sure, expressly. Once you know that you have stolen public money, the next thing is to die. So if the politician knows that if he steals money, he cannot stay back, in Nigeria or elsewhere to eat that money, the next thing that he will do, he will deviate from stealing. Nobody wants to die.
And he will quit politics.
Nobody wants
What
to
I
die.
said indirectly about it.
No, but the truth is that the solution to Nigerians' problem is very simple. The only problem we have there is that we still have people of the old order, holding sway to power.
All right.
So that is it. So thank you, viewers at home.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We can talk all on this particular issue. Like what one of my guests said, he said we are practicing democracy, but true federalism isn't there. Is that the problem right now? What is really going to get to hear about security challenges, get to hear about killing, get to hear about clashes, get to hear about protest. People are like really under, and they're not really happy about this situation. How do you think we can get it right? Gentlemen, once more, I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Well, the opinions completely theirs. It has nothing to do with ITV, but did their best possible to make sure they follow the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Nigeria is our country. If you want it to be better, if you want us to remain one, if you want us to be prosperous, you have to do the right thing at the right time with the right intention so that Nigeria can be great again. Bye for now.